The president checking off another major foreign affairs accomplishment. He fulfilled a campaign promise by pulling out of the Iran deal and is preparing for his historic meeting with North Korean President Kim Jong-un. But are the media giving credit where credit is due? Let's turn to our panel. Judy Miller, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and Fox News contributor. Also, Beverly Hallberg, president of District Media Group and host of Filler Words podcast. Thanks for being here, both of you.
Thank you.
Beverly, the opening of the embassy is just barely concluded, and the coverage so far is not exactly laudatory by and large.
You would think that this would be one of the most controversial issues that a president has ever done. But when you take a look at the past, you saw that President Obama actually campaigned for moving the embassy. Bill Clinton definitely advocated for it, as well as many Democrats have advocated for moving the embassy over the past few years. So the only thing that seems controversial about this is how it's being reported. And sadly, whether it's this issue, whether it's North Korea, it seems that much of the reporting is always through the lens of the president's personality or his rhetoric. You can dislike that all you want on how he talks to the media, but what we really need to find out is how is this when it comes to the policy and what benefits Americans, and that's what reporters are getting wrong.
She's right, Judy. A lot of presidents or presidential candidates have promised to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, and nobody's done it until now.
Absolutely right, John. No one has done it for very good reason. And the reason can be seen on the split screens that are being viewed by people all over the world. On one hand, you have the Americans and the Israelis and no Europeans, no one else, toasting the opening of the embassy in a disputed part of the Israeli territory. And you have on the other side more than 47 Palestinians killed so far, and the numbers are still going up, 1,600 wounded, violence in Gaza, 40,000 at the border. This is a split-screen story. It's not that the media are being unfair to the president or his decisions. It's that it is controversial. And our job as reporters is to cover that controversy, to tell you the pros and the cons of the decision to move the embassy at this point. Of course, every presidential candidate has vowed to do it, and nobody has done it because this was supposed to be part of a peaceful settlement, which we don't have right now.
Well, Beverly, I suppose nobody would expect the Palestinians to be happy about this.
Absolutely not, and there are even reports of more countries wanting to move their embassy as well. Let's not forget Israel is one of our strongest allies. This is their capital city. This is just recognizing what our ally already says is their capital. And I think that what we may find, and I hope what we do find, is that this does lead to more conversations. And I think the Trump administration, what they're trying to do with this policy or with other policies against Iran, even how they're working with North Korea right now, trying to find a diplomatic solution to getting rid of the nuclear program there, is hoping that they can bring people to the table by showing we mean what we say. This is a different approach. This is not status quo, what we've seen from previous presidents who may talk a big game or not talk a big game at all and not follow through. But this is definitely a different way of handling things, and I'm hoping we see progress from it.
Isn't it the case, Judy, that the Palestinians are sort of the pawns of the Middle East? They get stuck in the middle of Arab-Israeli or maybe Iranian-Israeli relations and sort of used by one side or the other.
That's absolutely true, John. And beyond that, they are also their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
What we saw from the Palestinian leader who denounced the Israelis, who committed a terrible, terrible, more than faux pas, just gave a speech which actually blamed the Jews for the Holocaust. It was racist, it was ugly, it was violent, and he had to apologize for it. So the Palestinians have not been well served by their leaders. But whether or not that is the case, the decision to move the embassy now is one that's likely to inflame the situation, not to calm it down. And my question for Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, whom I know and whom I've interviewed several times, is how does this advance the peace process? Where is that peace plan that you've been promising? I want to keep an open mind. If the president succeeds, I will be the first to applaud. But so far, all we have, at least in Israel, is greater violence and death. And that's not what was supposed to be the end result of this decision.
We will keep an eye on it and see what results from this, whether these troubles go away relatively quickly or continue to boil in that part of the world. Judy Miller, Beverly Hallberg, thank you both.
Thank you,
John.